This lesson's on functions. We've actually done a lot with functions when we've played the What's My Rule game, where we have an in number and an out number, and you try to guess the rule. Try to figure this one out. If we put in 2 and the number 5 comes out, you can take a guess what the rule is. It might be add 3, or it might be multiply by 3 and subtract 1. It could be various things. You really can't tell until you see at least another in and out pair. So if I say 5 goes in and 11 comes out, you have a better idea. In fact, you can say for sure what the rule is. If you have two ins and outs, there's a way that you can figure that out. But this is actually a function. A function has 3 parts. A function has to have an input, which is like what we say when we say what number goes in. So that would be what goes in, and an output, which is what comes out, and a rule, which in this case, the rule is that the in number, which I'll call y, equals double the output number, I should say. The output number, y, equals double the input number, which is x, plus 1. So when I write it this way, sorry, that's so I messed up there, but y equals 2x plus 1 would be what the rule is, or the rule could just be said to be 2x plus 1, or double the number and add 1. That we can describe with a function. If you take a job which pays $12 per hour, plus $20 for the time it takes you to travel to and from the job, that's a situation that suggests there's a rule, which is how much money do you make on your job. The amount of money that you make, or the output would be 12 times the hours that you work plus 20. So we could do actually make what's called an XY chart. But again, let me stress to you that the input number is usually identified with the letter X, and the output number, or what comes out, is identified with the letter Y. So I'm going to do a chart. It's called an XY chart. It can be organized going from left to right or top to bottom. So if 0 goes in, 20 comes out, which means if you go to the job and there's nothing to do that day, you put in 0 hours, you still get paid $20. Or if you work 1 hour, you would make 12 times 1 plus 20, or $32. If you did, let's go up to 5 hours. If you did 5 hours, you get 12 times 5 is $60, plus another 20, so you'd make $80 for the day. So there's what your XY chart would look like. It could also be organized this way. 0, 20, 1 hour in, 32 hours, $32 comes out. I'll put in 2 hours on this one. So you get 12 times 2 is 24, plus 20 is 24 plus 20, 44. So you can see that. Actually look at what's happening as you go from 0, 1, and 2. What's the change that happens as you go from 20 to 32 to 44? Looks like it's always add 12. Add 12 to 20 and get 32. Add 12 to 32 and get 44. And in fact it is. And that's because of the 12 here. That you're multiplying the number of hours by 12 every time. And that's referred to as a rate of change. There are 2 other vocabulary words that I'd like to talk about. The domain and the range. The domain represents all the values that you can have for your output. So, I'm sorry, I had that backwards. Domain is all the input values. Everything that could go in for X. When we had the previous problem, it would be all the positive rational numbers, because you can't work when the input was the number of hours that you worked. You obviously can't work negative hours, so it would be all the positive integers, not just integers, but all the positive numbers. If you go from, we had it on the number line, go 0 and this way, that would be the domain. If you talk about the range, which is the values for the output, even if you work 0 hours, you would still get $20. So we have to start at 20 and say it could be any number of dollars from 20 on up. So domain is the values that can go into the function or into the rule, and range is the set of numbers that could come out.